What's up, YouTube? This is True Raw for Sports. Just want to add this as a plug. I'm not trying to annoy you guys, but just want to put this out there because every time I'm doing a video, there may be someone who hasn't heard this message. But YouTube is cracking down on free speech, and as a result of this, not able to be my normal self. A lot of us aren't able to be our normal selves on here. So I just want to tell you guys that there's a Patreon. It's something that you've probably seen a link to that before. The Patreon is an alternate site where freedom of speech has not been bothered with. We're still able to, on the Patreon, able to talk how we want to talk. Pretty much can talk about anything on the Patreon. It is a $2 a month charge for the basic tier. On that tier, I talk about politics, social issues, potpourri topics. On the $5 tier, you hear everything that's on the $2 tier, but also on the $5 tier, I talk basketball, LeBron James, clutch sports, the media, the whole shebang, Stephen A. Smith, all of that. So just want to put that out there. The link is in the description box or in the pinned comment in the comment section below. All right, so I want to talk about something that Kwame Brown said recently. I believe he said this on his podcast. He touched on the nonsense that Gilbert Arenas was blathering out without thinking recently on his podcast, Gil's Arena, talking about how, well, maybe Michael Jordan was on PEDs when he was playing. Now, he was all over the place. He said, well, maybe Michael Jordan was using PEDs when he first came in. He mentioned how Jordan had quote-unquote waves, and then 3 months later he was totally bald. Look, I looked at Michael Jordan. I don't remember seeing no waves. Like I said, I don't remember him looking like, genuine out there as far as his hair is concerned. I don't know what he's talking about with waves. He wasn't a prime Keith Sweat with his hair. He had like a natural, close little Dr. King joint. You know what I'm saying? He started losing his hair early, but so did Charles Barkley. So did World Be Free. So did Nate Thurman. Nate Thurman was using PEDs. Danny Ferrer was using PEDs. Bobby Hurley was using PEDs. I mean, come on now. It's getting kind of ridiculous, man. Danny Mann was using PEDs too. So, I mean, come on. Then he talked about how Jordan bulked up, put on all this muscle at one time. And in actuality, I think Jordan gained like 7 pounds of muscle in the off season. He worked very hard to put on that muscle. He put on 7 pounds. I think he went from 198 to 205. He was still pretty much a stick figure. Jordan didn't really get noticeably bigger until he played baseball. And that's because when you play baseball, you have a baseball player's body. You're not playing basketball. Basketball players tend to be more lithe. Baseball players tend to be more sturdy. So as a consequence of playing baseball, Michael Jordan put on about 10 pounds. Not 10 pounds of fat, but generally about 10 pounds of muscle. In particular, in his legs. So he went from like 205 to 215. If you check, that's how much Michael Jordan weighed for the most part during his 3-peat years. Sometimes he was up to the last 3-peat years. Sometimes he was up to 217, 218. That's when he was being affected by tendonitis. Remember late in that first year, 95, 96, he dropped down to 209 in 97. Because if you notice, in 97, if you look at that season, I watched the Bulls, so I know this. In 97, Jordan looked a little quicker than he did in 96. He was getting up a little bit more. He was dunking more. Remember he dunked on Bobby Sura. He had a lot more dunks in 97 because he lost a little bit more weight. Put a little bit of that weight back on in 98, went back up to 215, 216. Wasn't as explosive. A little bit more. I think it was around 211, 212. But he was heaviest in that 96 season. Wizard years, he was 225. So Gilbert says that only reason why Michael's played all 82 games is because he was on the juice. Well, one of his teammates happened to be Kwame Brown. And Kwame Brown said that was absolute BS. Absolute BS. And this is what Kwame said, all right? I would play the audio, but YouTube is cracking down on that. Kwame Brown says, quote, I can say 100% that that's cap. MJ wasn't on anything. At 38, at 39, 40 years old, MJ wasn't outrunning any other young guys. MJ wasn't coming down the lane tomahawk dunking on anybody. He was very old, and you could tell this was an older guy out there with young people. He's not an older guy that's still dunking on people through the lane, full fast breaks coast to coast, and the things that we're seeing now. Then he said, am I saying that LeBron is on something? No. I'm just comparing the two at around the same age. I had a very close-up look at MJ, and now I'm seeing LeBron. I've never seen anything like this. Well, I'm going to say it. I think that there's something screwy going on. We've seen some of the great athletes of all time, Dominique Wilkins, Wilt Chamberlain, Bill Russell. All of them show signs of age as they got into their mid-30s, and those who played longer into their late 30s. Even the doctor, Dr. J, became an intern by his last 2 seasons. So, you know, he still retained a lot of his athleticism, but that explosive athletic ability that you normally see in your 20s, no. I'm just saying, man, you know, people can keep trying to deflect all they want to. All I'm going to say is, when you compare Michael and LeBron, only one of these guys put on 7 pounds after playing a basketball game. Normal physiology, that's impossible. Unless LeBron sat down during halftime and perhaps ate a 15,000 course meal, which I doubt it. You know what I'm saying? Only one of these guys had reportedly tumorous growths removed from their jaw, which is why they're wearing a beard, to cover up the scars and the growths on their face. Only one of these persons, reportedly, has family members and associates tied to PEDs, definite PEDs. You know what I'm saying? Where we're talking about the whether you're talking about involved in the receiving or shipment of PEDs, family members, close, including his wife, including the trainer, a guy he's still working with today. These are suspicious things. I'm not saying that he's guilty, but it's suspicious. These are suspicious details, including the fact that he's never talked out about this. Even though his original accuser, Kel Sonnen, doubled down recently on this, basically accusing him, saying no, there's no alleged. He accused him. So I find it incredulous that the people who keep accusing him, Kel Sonnen, Kevin Garnett, others, they don't get touched. It's just us reporting it. They don't want us reporting this. Because it's not about what's true or not. It's about censoring the news. The same thing that goes on with these bigwigs. You don't think there's independent investigative reporters, or at least independent investigative-minded reporters that work for these huge corporate entities that want to report certain news, but their bosses, their editors tell them, you can't report this. Why? Because certain people are protected. And that's what happened to us. YouTube is trying to protect certain individuals. Maybe even not through their own initiation, but through the initiation of other entities. So that's my theory on that, at least. So that's what's going on, man. You know, I just find it funny that when we start reporting on that, everything just went haywire. Trolls started trolling us. LeBron came down from his palatial estate to YouTube to shut everything down for the most part. But it's okay for people to speculate baselessly on Michael Jordan. Thanks, Kwame, for putting out the truth, man. Even though it's not going to be reported like what Gilbert put out there. That was on TV. But what you said, let's see if Stephen A. Smith reports that. No, he's not. But anyway, that's all I got to say about it.